pure bodies, forms of primitive girth, wisdom urges us to develop winner of the best, with supreme starting space like stars, color like gold, just green like trees, the Savior having great compassion, profound and all understanding, revealed the very controls by divine solution. To you, the one God entrusted the scientific strength, which rules with their freeze one freeze one to the dark that pacifies and constraint. Those who liberated it also showed the path to liberation, or revealed God by his realization, who had urged it in one of precepts. To use the right conditions in attending virtue by constraint. Homage to the Supreme Buddha. Homage to the Dharma refuge. Homage to the Great Sangha. To all three, every devout homage. To all worthy of respect, ardent lovers of spurious all realms and in all aspects. With supreme faith, I pay homage. Do not permit any non-virtuous actions. Perform only preferential actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a physical apparition, a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits, these sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing. Subdue the 12 faults and be delivered from samsarization, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. To page 15 for the Heart of Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the Aggregates. Thus did I hear at one time the Bhagavan was dwelling on the exalted mountain in Rajagriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagavan was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called perfection. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasatha looked upon the very practice of the profound perfection of wisdom and beheld those bycategories also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of Buddha, the venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasatha, come to me, son of the lineage trained, which is practiced every day for the high perfection of wisdom. He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasatha recalled his trial. Said he, son of the lineage or lord of the Buddha, who wishes to practice actively the profound perfection of wisdom, he will apply like this, correctly and repeatedly behold those high aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not nothing at all. Form is also not nothingness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composition, practice, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise all phenomena are empty. Without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stateless, not without state, of condition, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composition of factors, no consciousness. No eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no eye element, and so on, up to and including no mind element, and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and harm. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration, without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the endpoint of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times are manifestly, completely awakened to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as the truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Tayata, Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisoha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like
Then the Bhagavan arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage. It is like that, it is like that. One should practice a profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoiced. The Bhagavan, having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharadaviputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, assurers, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised. That's spoken by the Bhagavan. The page 25 for the short mandala.
Zanje shindi midi ewa yi dogo nanda shila chepa sho Lama damba jinan yi chebe ala jende dunde Jida sambe duje zema la saji shuji cha Ita buru rane men Rani ataya Sanje chedan soji chanan la Chenju bada dani Nage chujin jivi sunan ji Drola penje sanje drupa Sanje chedan soji chanan la Chenju bada dani jasan Nage chujin jivi sunan ji Drola penje sanje drupa Sanje chedan soji chanan la Chenju bada dani jasan Nage chujin jivi sunan ji Drola penje sanje drupa Nage de zinye sawe dawa de jiba we shiri tambe shune denze Madame de la jaze la donye nye zonde jabe la Chichi zinze kanche dende Chana me o denze jaza la So o de zo shi dende dush Pande zewe la maro baje Nage chura bende de june Kate chibe kunde jizone Kuso do je modo ze do so Wae dawa zo di Kulo ji chegi narwa Kulo di Nini nga zo kaa tanda chue tuya di Tekwa chimbe chue Gini da Chue ki nyingu dhawa di chanchu lamrin dhawa Lamrin Chinting chue sumda lamrin Dila da dewa mangwa shio jira Lamrin tijin job je saya dili yungu Da di nani lamrin chamu sili da Di je nangi da Nyingu dhokdo dhawa jiri Jeza di ndeji Tare tuki chua kaa dewa ji chue dini da hajan ki tsa chimbo da Tekwa chimbe chue Ina Nazo Hansu su nye nye jungune kulon di Ni shenbe chanchu simji kune lanje Nye tuwi ina Ni chue di tekwa chimbe chue di chue tik jingi chue su tuku yorwa Di indu ni nye dari dana di Di ling shi nye tola nye ya di Ranyi jibu tanda ma yinba che di shawa simji shi Tamje la pimpa pa shi ki chi di mi nyingi yo Simji kulon Oda nye chik che shuwa osra
No. Correcting our motivation that we listen to this Dharma, that it is the Dharma of the the great vehicle of the Lamrim, of which, meaning the graduated stages to enlightenment, of which there are, vast, medium, and small lengths of that teaching, 18 kind of divisions, or it subsumes 18 bundles. And really, what we're listening to, the great Lamrim, is the essence of all of that. And it, in that sense, is very precious. It is the great vehicle. So in that light, one should listen with that great vehicle motivation, which is the beneficial intention of bodhicitta. Then it becomes the Mahayana vehicle or great vehicle. So in that light, one listens to this teaching on karma abiding not just for you, but solely to benefit sentient beings.
다 가고금라 되는 나 메지디 나래야 네 최자 주무진 미초디 네 그가 야구래다 zambuling 최대라 타나치니 내가 당보들 하코니 베뉴뉴래와 일랑아라도 미상다나 최치 최설다 근데 타나치니 베뉴뉴래도와 타나치네 타나치서디 노르제 치니 먹고요래와 내가 된들라 고호제 되니 먹고요래 다다다 말아줘 타나치서디 네 마노다 람 오늘 다디 수수기 오늘 염려 치도나 오늘 수수기 tunje tsana ane chi susu simla ya gyuwa dhoya simla la chino yo ya sim gyuwa dhoya tende ki shung za chenpo chi tuki chungwa di ni kiawa sangpo yin sangpo chi kawa kongpo resra.
And one should rejoice that in the context of this life, one has met this holy Dharma. It is a good opportunity in the context of knowing that Dharma. In the world, very few people turn towards that Dharma or are interested in it. But not only have we turned toward it and are interested in it, when people sometimes train in Dharma, they go down a mistaken path. We have met a teaching that's valid and unmistaken. In that sense, if one practices and has the conditions, everything is there to change the mind, to allow the mind to undergo change. So in that sense, to come across such a holy text is fortunate. We should rejoice in that.
Aya da ozu di yun chinazu di mangbo koyo rwa da chi karso gore ni shine se mangbo shibuji da ani koyo rwa ni shine ge da shine se di shi mingba jingla susu sim newa ani shi se di yang ko shiwas la yun di yun ozu sim chingwa dan goba rakwa simi jing namdo tiye ba shi je ani sim ne tu ya di shi yu ba dila shi ne tsik do jana ra jaza di ngarazo danda sim ji gange dan ma jiwa dan mangbo jiwa di sim tembo me di ra sim di lamsa gen shun ju jik tewa da la lamsa tu do ya di karisi na kaya nganzo sim di tembo me di gyumzen jik ti tu gu yo resra di indi ta di sim tu gu ya ma tu wa chi ya ki tablan cho di gyuwa di sim shiwa ne tu ya di di ne ya ki tablan di la an ta na nganzo lamrin chame na la ma ani shi ne ji ko shi ya yu ta ani shi ne ki mikba yu kari la mikko re ya si ya mikba shebe kanda nganzo mikba shegi yo resra.
Yeah. A lot of you will have heard of this term, calm abiding, calm abiding, calm abiding. What does it mean? Shine, to place the mind and abide in that state of setting or placement peacefully. So firstly, setting the mind one-pointedly on the object, and lastly, abiding in a calm manner, on it. Calm in the sense that the pitfalls of discursion and sinking have been pacified. And it's very important, because so that's what it means, calm abiding, but essentially the facts that the fact that our minds get perturbed, let's say, or upset, is because our minds lack stability. And when our minds meet a small condition, that can be the condition for that mental instability. And secondly, in order that the mind does not, let's say, project onto the object or hallucinate, then the mind will remain at peace. So within that, we are looking at this text of Lamrim, the graduated stages to enlightenment. We're at the section that looks at calm abiding, and at the moment we've been looking at the objective support of the mind or the object.
아니 내가 시행이야 곰자우르스디 이 지와다니 망고도 지체는 결혼도 되는 가시들이 튕기진다 곰자라디 가야한테 마템버시 봐
야,
대야 정보까지 아니 베드 카라스스 무슨 무엇이 돼야지라 뭐지 곰자들이 구다라
야,
그 곰디 잡이나 한 미국 버차 그러지라 sometimes
yeah, yeah. And the question that comes up quite often, some people think that to meditate means to stop all thinking, so that you're just like, stay quietly and be, to completely stop the thoughts. But there's a danger that if you do that, you would become like a dull or stupid.
아니 너도 가래 곰잡디 곰자디 가가와서 너도 심 추워지어라 추밤 툭딩요 디 가고르스로 디 가고르면 심 유제 가고요 말아 심 유제 가서는 아니 견자 쉽지 차로 그러라
So then what is the purpose of meditation? It is to stop the mind hallucinating, to stop the mind projecting. And of course, we're not stopping the mind from functioning.
제가 니디 다디 말라 아니 심디 간데질 미그니 아니 미그와 간데질 미그니 한 곰자고래 시엔디 답 담고거나 미그와 시고라 미그와 시엔디네 진에 미그와 시디다 가서 베나 심샤자들 바고라
Yeah.
들라다 시요래다 차베 미그와 제번나저 미그와 케베 미그와 요모나저 미그와스다 somebody
So first, when training the mind, you have to recognize or settle upon what object it is you're focusing on. And we looked at these 4 divisions of those objects. So that the universal objects of meditation, objects of meditation for purifying behavior, and then objects of meditation for expertise, and then fourth, those objects of meditation for purifying afflictions. We're at the third of those. So what are the objects of meditation for expertise?
케와 미과스 라면이 제정어서 지난 최탐제 아니 신에게 미과 샤초거라
Yeah.
미과 샤초거래 이는 미과 데이터 빼러가지고 빼나가서 가시에게 우공거래 가시에 외공거래 가시에게 나공거래 가시에게 덤박공거래 가시에서 가르고 미르는 겁나 되게 걸어 다디 개정부 시행과지 가르서는 그 빼디 베나 다 심나라 샤딩이 또 베나 덤베꾸로지나 덤베꾸지체 아니 심나라 덤베꾸 일을 샤딩이 저러
Yeah.
어디 미과 디레스다 일을 샤딩이 들어 제가 일을 이 샤죠 상마 가나 안 되어야면 와셔서
Ale. So therefore, what does it mean to have an object of meditation for expertise? In general, when setting out to accomplish shamatha, calm abiding, one can choose any phenomena. For example, the breath, light, sound. But it's important to know that if you were to settle on an object, for example, the statue of Buddha, that you're setting your mind on a mental image of that statue of Buddha, so that once more, as we said before, the mind has a job to do. It is not no thought. Yes.
다단다 딜라 아니 베나 풍부샤거다 풍부라
Let him
풍부다
listen.
칸다 계제다 덴데 내다 내 멤버다 당부 풍부샤요디 풍부가 다디디 베케 첨부레라 풍부가 풍부가디 네 소풍부라
Yeah.
풍부라디 저루루 챙겨들 풍부서거라
Yeah.
두마풍부라 풍부시라 아니 어나저 류 차셰들래 풍부가요 소풍부 소야풍부 뒤시풍부 남시풍부시 풍부가요라 다 풍부가디 다도 상당히 되게 소풍부 상당히 당부 다 일을 샤오라 소풍부라
Yep.
다 일을 샤된 요 디가라니 심샤제 대고야지 자고였다들
So the categories for these objects of meditation for expertise, if you're following in the text, page 36, the first are aggregates, the second constituents, the sources, dependent arising, and then finally what is and what is not possible. If we look at this first one, the aggregates, it's important because we go through those 5 aggregates of form, feelings, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness. And the first one, form, we can think of condensing form by means of our body, for example, but you have to bring that image of body to mind. Form.
다단다 디 풍부로 검자야데 디용으로서 천번예샤는 류트문예샤 니 초트문예샤 심트문예샤 최트문예샤도
Yeah.
천번예샤 시디가 네 검자다디 풍부라 다다디 약쇼여래 따라와
Pumbola air. So, when we talk about sort of taking the aggregates and within them form as our object of reference, relating it to the 4 close placements of mindfulness. The first one, close placement of mindfulness on body, then feelings, then mind, then phenomena. For us, that first one of close placement of mindfulness on body is important. Yes.
다 텔라 캡에 미고라고 인식하려나
Yeah.
풍부 먼저 풍부가디 정말 여러다 그래서 주켈레나리 캐멀레나리 정말 풍부가 여러다
Yeah.
다디 따고래 다디 따연디 아니 디에가라 따워보죠 봐다 풍부가 다 나스니로 나디 아니 풍부게 나게 차세 레레레네 풍부레네 가리도 미도 따고
Lada.
그래서 단다 지 뭐이네주디 네 풍부가라 다세 네 풍부가라 데네 딱삼마시지 풍부가 나네 가여로지 이해해 보여 말이야 요 말다 풍부가 나네 딥 가레스는 주주 드서라고요 말이야 네 인주들라 먼저 뒤에 망보지게 아니 상로디 나세 신 샤와 타모디 많이 튕겨요
Yep.
저는 뭐지게니 다다 솔라디 이지식도로
Yes.
다 솔라디 이지체는디 거열해 딱 채고 따고 그러더라 다음도 채딱 따제 채고 다디 이슈줄로게니 더버리 어디 더 따와디 미tum버레스 딜라야머 제주시 따고 그러 뭐니 주디 뭐니 주 나세디 컨디션도면서 지선들 케베 미고라고 해야지 다 뒤에 군섭지 미고를 하고 된다 미고 가는 거라마 띵서로 두고요.
Right. So now, why is it called objects of meditation for expertise? Because these aggregates are something we all have, whether you believe in Dharma or not. So if you do a thorough checking of the notion of self or I, and you check each of the aggregates individually to seek out where is that I. In reality, what you come to see is that the I is merely designated on the basis of designation, which are the 5 aggregates. And, within the aggregates themselves, you can't point to any one or the group of them and say, that is the I. Because some people might think that, for example, the subtle mind is me. The subtle mind is the I. Or they might call it the soul. In that case, it's very important to check up, where is it? Where would such a soul be? So that could be the reality if you're following like a Christian persuasion. But in reality, one has to check up where this I is, because by first doing this checking of these relative things in terms of the basis, then we come to know the ultimate nature of the selfness.
네 곰잡 되는 거 상로다나 안에 하고라 저던디 단단디 베제나니 지 말렉자 셰샤서 디티션 요 많이 바디 말한저 페셰버드나 말한저 뇨니라 저 두야 라트에요
Yeah.
디장에 탭디 자체 모레라 줌젠데레
Now in this context, it's very important that we meditate and we analyze and we come to know from our experience of these things, meaning that from the text and learning through the text, we take ourselves as an example and we experience, you're not going to come to this realization just by reading and study, but by doing the experiential meditation, you can introduce your mind to these things. That's why we said at the beginning the text was special. Yeah, so it's probably good if we sit through this together or meditate. You like to meditate? That is a good sign.
가서오래 곰세 찍디다 누워를 체를 도더라 체를 도니 따당 무슨 주기 근데 류게 풍풍하라 따라와 디게디야 오시다다 뭐 아니 데 류지 라신 따연데 류 때문에샤 수풍으로 봐 수풍으로 신을 따연데 아니 류 때문에샤 세체고다 너도체 아니 내가 디슬라기 레고시 저런 곰데스 제스타위나 한젤라 심나라 태야라 페도샤스라
It's in that sense of our meditative experience, if we can gain an interest in it, because we have that interest together, it is good, because then our interest in meditation will increase our kind of zest. So therefore, the aggregates we should check, the 5 aggregates, and starting with the body, checking what is the body's nature. Remember we talked about form being the first aggregate, or body. So what is its entity? What is its nature? This is the close placement of mindfulness of body. So if I talk and you meditate with, then in the future, when you do it by yourself, your mind will come to recall. So we'll start with the breathing a bit.
이제는 저 수고 차시차서 수고 나로 지로 빠과如果 뒤지셔서 마도 시강베티 사고 찍다 야 강베티네야 제 고사고 르그라시고라 르그라시디 칼레 미지 다더라.
Initially, when you breathe in, imagine that breath going in through the nostrils into the head region, the brain, the eyes, and so forth, until it's slowly pervading the body down to the feet. And then one can go from the feet up. So really checking what is the body's nature.
다드네 근데 속이 아니 속 류디 아니 유카르르디네 추미메디 지도트비나 야워 데네 추모서 왔다 귤레디네 추모로 당모디 귤레디네 추모디 신드네 야고다 항저 류디 하츠니야 지스 파마니 사고야 가저 도도도나 데바르라 류디 쳐야라다 또 칼라사고레 주동고레 르제제고레 니고고요레 둘러고고레 강바고고요레 뭐다고고요레 와 세상마다 류저야 지들에도 류저야 규제 그래서 류 칼라마스는 류서도 문다라 칼라서야라 아니 녀지자고도 칼라서고도 녀지자라 배샤고도 배샤고야 내가 저고도 세상마 류저야 지들에도 알아 아 뒤에 원하서도 아직 제대만 차지 저거디도 달래다 칼라드 삼고는 dumde 오래도 알아 제자니 뉴스 도저지 삼로시다나 유단제 유진망고 질레데네 류드 초고요 봐 유진데나라 아니 지 치게 뭐버지고 많이 봐 아니 미 튠도로 와마동고로 샤사고도 마 비주치고 도상하니 아니 저러다 망고지 담블린다나 부토마면은 어제 대토고 말하려고 알아 한두 사람 건설가리인데 어제 류도 써대도 왔다 간다 어디 당나라 사람 실다도 왔다도 사람 시다는 랑일
Just that. So then it is good to think, okay, so we're meditating on the body and what is the cause of the body in terms of its dependent arising. Thinking that, of course, we can trace the physical attribute of it back to the parents, but also the other causes and conditions that go to keep the body. To sustain it, we need food, for example, exercise, rest, clothes, shopping, and so forth. All of these things are causes and conditions that go to sustain our body. And, of course, to get food, we need to shop. To be able to shop, we need money. To have money, we need to work. Well, some of us think we just need to eat when we're hungry, but there's more to it. And causes and conditions are also involving other humans, animals, in terms of meat and or butter. And it is often said that this world could not sustain itself without insects. So just thinking on that, reflecting on body.
그래서 류디 소야치데 차제 디제디 야부지 시에는 아니 케버스 다 케버스디 무슨 내다 먹고 시용도 알아
Just then on that, level of understanding the causes and conditions to sustain the body, one becomes kind of expert.
다 당랑을 선다나 류디 아니 미다고 이메라 시선다 저거로
That very body then is impermanent by nature.
다단도 띵서다나 근데 류세디 규다 gel드네 좀 맞아 차셰라 되네 좀으로 차셰디다 마마마시디 아니 듀디 뭐 실레드네 투디와 하고디 저러다 팅두 모던게 피직드네 전요에는 야고요로 그 탐모드네다 그 팅두 체리게 민다다 담으로도 다디에는 남바산제에게 배 차장에 네 타와 하장 타와 타도베 얘네 다두다 수수 셔다 데스데스 오마테 유르라 두데 참이세드 메레다 차다 제와 이브레 이다야
Right.
타투인데 얘네 베마 야와 치투지 메데 요 타도베질라
Yep.
두두 타보셔 다데게 두 뭐고 실라 데네 거즈 루 차셰드 두데와
Okay.
데데 상다에 도와다 해라
If we think a bit deeper, not only is the body impermanent in terms of its cause and conditions, but it's also made up of parts. And we can talk about particles on one level, but going even deeper, subatomic particles, for you who are interested in science and physics, that level of subatomic particle. And from the perspective of Buddha Dharma, when we look at that subtle level in terms of the body's final nature, when we come down to the Madhyamika Prasangikas, there are no partless particles. It gets to a stage where the particles are so fine, one can no longer divide them. But in short, to know that the body is an amalgam of parts. Yes.
진짜 드네인데다 루세디 조조네야 조기면데 싫어
So body, you try and point finger at it, cannot find.
여말다
Where is it?
여말에서는 아주 루 열어야
But to say it's not there is not to say it's non-existent.
다디 루 차셰라 때네 봐 딱잠지다 루세 봐 민딱잠지 메시지 민잠지 메시지 그래서는 내 민디 자와치 거다 봐 그래서 다디 하자 타워다 띵사오래 그래서 야고 셴나는 뭐네 개와 차야고다 봐
So that body exists just because it's labeled upon its parts, labeled upon its designation basis. So it never exists in mere name. So it exists in mere name, but somehow it still functions. And understanding that is very deep and profound. And that's why this is called an expert object.
다곰 뭐네 자 미고로 미툼나 루시야디 Anh càng ba lạc ba cha xe mà vô chỉ là tên này tác sang chỉ để xa mình chỉ người nào cái thằng sim nào nghe lưu sĩ đi thằng xuất đầu là chủ định cho xa không được rồi
Yeah.
ở đi thế này mấy người phải xem ra rồi thế này mấy người phải xem là thằng đó mới sẽ cái mà đấy所以呢主到了马上也这个我这mấy người phải đi xem ra thôi là lập cho mà đấy吧呢
Okay.
我这sim nào là xa đến有个lưu chế rồi吧đi thế này mấy người phải đi đi xem ra thôi mà đấy 어디 재고 어디 쟤는 뭐 이거 다라니 류딩 동반이 차고 그래서
So one meditates on the body with analysis and tries to find it under that analysis and comes to see that the body is merely labeled by mind. But the body that appears to us seems to be a solid body, but it's something that you can't find under analysis. And each of the tenet holders must reflect on this according to their thesis, but ultimately that body that they're looking for is unfindable under analysis. And in dependence on that, one comes to understand body's empty nature.
류딩 동이
Yeah, sorry. In dependence on that analysis, one comes to see emptiness of body.
어이 다디 류디 되게 뭐지 봐 나는 또 들어지 나 저한테 선호다야기만 싫어지 사회나지 다또 저는 수수 선호다고 그러라 꼼지하고 그러다
Yeah. So that is looking at the body in terms of the essence or planting a seed or the basis, and then you have to do your individual reflection around that.
다들 초라야 돼 다단다 초디도 가려네 리고래 봐 초와 대화에나 리고래 초 등에게 나고만 나도 루이
Raining nose.
다 미마고 나도 루이보다 돼
So now feelings, and whether the feelings are good and whether the feelings are bliss or suffering. The suffering could be a running nose. I'm checking to see who's suffering from a running nose.
다 괜찮다 쉬어도 알아 내가 삼르다한테는 그 나고디 취디 말말에 삼르 신다한테는 그 인도다 괜찮다시더라 괜찮으시더라디
Yingdog yun din a kay omarba.
아
Yingdog yun a common do.
그 삼르다한테 말말로
Well,
삼르 신다한테는
it's strange, isn't it? When you focus on your runny nose, it runs, but if you're thinking on something else, it's not so bad.
그 심단 저요다 세우고다라
Yeah, we see the mental connect here, the mind connect.
어디 다디네 제상저 초회 풍부로 와 풍부에는 수 풍부 더세 다 초회 풍부 써야 돼 아니 초와 요야 되다 초와 대와 이나리 동에는 초와 가래는 초와신이 열다 상물을 타더라 초와지 열다 초와
Yeah. So form has been talked about. The aggregate of feeling really are these experiences of well-being or suffering. And we have them, they are there.
다시 차스는 차와 뇨다가라 초와래 야 지구도는 지구와 뇨아들이 아니 세날 담을 티제 세마마 기브스도는 다가나 초와래 초와도게 봐
So then some people experience cold, that is the feeling. Some people have the experience of being burnt. And then some people, because they think a lot, have the experience of being mentally ill at ease, that's also a feeling.
다 셈나네 지지지지 텐데데 다 까트와 요머다 라야
Yeah, so the fact that the mind is always recalling various objects, we can't seem to stop that.
아니 셈나 텐야데 저수지 텐야 야가데 텐데니 소아 야가시 리고레 아니 셈나 텐야데 도가냐 텐데나 아니 도가네 도가나레 아니 가서이나 당모델라 수수삼 마지워서도라
Yeah,
아니 네 수수 예게 미리게 마지워서도다 데데 레도고 뭐인지 레도라
yeah. And if one thinks lots of good, positive things, generally the feelings are good. But if one thinks a lot of negative things, suffering results. And then what we come to see is that one is upset by one's own mind, but also those around you are affected by that.
어이다 다양한 검지자로
So let's meditate on
검
that.
가져서는 아니 초와들 따지라 초와 스스 초와 가래 요디 셰바셰 초에 뭐디 셰스나 나 네가는 심 샤투 말에 타다 이네 초와디 이니 주가를 되네 중도로 와
Yeah.
디제디야 섬로 다네로 와 타다다 베나 야 가실 너구 이니 디유나 아니 참바다 참바로 와다 딜레디네 참바디 스스 르기 좋아 스스 르기 좋아디 이니 제디 다 두디디 주나다 가서래 냠도 왔다 가서 르기 디 냠도 치료가 내다서디 까통도 어디 내 성다에도 와라 그래서 풍부대 그두고요다 뭐 주주가라디 참발래로 제금도 부시지와 가르서는 그래서 원을 제대 누가 좀 쉬어서 그봐 비자 잡도 거라 다다는 어디서 왜 제일 많이 냠도데 엔 정말 액셉 제용 거다 제대로네 다음에도 이거다 제가 대가는 당기기 숙단 되어도 하셔서 진짜 초원요 해야 돼 속이 유어도다 친구가 지고 말아 그러지 속이 풍부 유어도다 되네 난다도 초어도 해야 돼 이거
Nangaradin,
어디데
Nangachiditu.
근데 선다에 도와다
Good.
되고 있는 줄 알아
So whatever feelings one can recognize is fine. To not always easy to place the mind on the feeling, but it is good to examine. It's good to examine the cause. For example, if you have a cold nose, if you have a runny nose, you can think that the source of that displeasure is the body, and this is because the particles of the body, for example, have degenerated. For example, when you're young, your aggregates are young, your form body's young, it's very strong. It's not so subject to getting a cold, but as your body degenerates, as you get older, it's easy for you to get a cold. So straight away there, you can reflect on the connection between form and feeling. It is not always something external that gives rise to feeling.
아니 개베 동의로 와 수부 개베 동의요나다 동의 추가해요 뭐라고 그러시나 홍어베라 시리 야 차는 거래 마 냠도 거래 가디네 야부지 되고 뭐 거야 메도드 그 류디 메도드 지거래로 메도야 닝조샤 한테네 마시 아니 테네 예로다 티나시 거는 류디 지주거네 야지 안테네 트레너자스 닝조로 차 아테네 야지도 다 곱도 차 다마 다 닙도 차다 라고 그도 아지네 다 저 동의 담을 게임이다 어디서 주진지를 봐 주진
Really,
so samda da ma da ngamda thokwa ane debe ne ji da ma da sano ten da du shin go da jujin to zole de ne so dung ye de chung sha sa ba ma ge so dung ye yo se ge su ge mi su so dung ye je da ma da yo ro jujin de je de ya ji ga zu de tu tu ji ga zu ya ro tu tu ji jujin de ro tu yi ne ane pe ya go re so ye ga tu ne ro
and also the fact that we are experiencing this aging process, kind of suffering by nature, but it doesn't really have to be, because actually it's the nature of things that sometimes we go up in strength, sometimes we go down, like our flower. When a flower is young and blossoms into a flower, then after that, sometime it fades again. Our bodies are just so When we're young, we're youthful, teenagers, adults, then we become bent. So it is good. It is good. Kuchara. It is good. It's good to think on the causes and conditions, and then some people's, thoughts create their feelings in terms of the source of the feelings. It isn't a thing we must do individually to trace the feelings back to the causes and conditions. This is an excellent examination.
emotional control 거기서도
Yeah.
그 유진 가르침도 그런 내적으로 가르도 라신 가르도 유 가르를 되는 정도 어디에 따다 그 예로 골란다 예로.
We always talk about emotions, controlling emotions. It is good to examine, okay, so what are the causes of the particular emotion, causes and conditions, what its nature, what's its source. And if one does that analysis, often we find that emotion dissolves of its own accord. So please meditate a bit on that.
저 뒤도 규제만 뭐질래 되네 좀 대자 맛에 저 그런 거 요새 저 되었어요. 아직 단단한 심나를 샤딩 요게 되어 있는 동의 있는데 자원한 시직 매대죠. 이번에 저도 그래서는 어차피 뭐질래 되네 봐 다시 좀 주지. 근데 심나를 샤딩 요게 단도 도와시대.
Okay.
지도도로 유딩 요딩 되지야. 제제네. 예매되죠. 제제는 예루거든은 다게 예되죠 되게 그러나 심샤지 때는 소외되기 내로를 쓰는 단다. 소화랑 오늘 좋아지. 때는 많이와 다가라 소외되기 내로이 당고 내로 쓰는 마다 그 소화되 주어두고요. 미다고 임바 쓰는 시다는 야보다 이제 제일 아니 소화라시 마도 어디 쓰는 단도 야보다
It is good then to reflect on the causes and conditions behind the feelings and then their entity. Sometimes, a blissful state appears to the mind, a good emotion or a suffering one but actually because they're the result of a lot of cause and conditions and are labeled upon that, then that emotion just appears in the mind. But when you examine it, because it is the product of those cause and conditions, you seek and you can't find it, and it dissolves back into the mind. Then you reflect on that feeling's lack of true existence, which is its final mode of being. But first, we should reflect on the feeling's impermanence, first level, and second level. What's the nature of the feeling?
Ani sansala samla de tana ya war nangne miti masidi azu tanda simna la chawa nani jeni na shinji mui ni jula yo mare la de pedi samtana lamsan chawa la di lamsan di de simna la yiji je na tande kabu yor de pela samtana pedi samtana pe ya war pe khare sna azu chunang dawa shargo de nangdo chunang dawa di nawa na shinji chunang dawa yorosna dawa yo marwa 어디 춘날 나와 매와 나와나 남기도 한 거죠. 나와나 신지 민도와 춘날. 거기나 신어도 처와서 요니 도도지 그저 생각나 남거요. 나와나 신지 근데 처도도 나와나 신디 요말. 어라서 뒤준 데 이지제도 되고 근데 유 춘날 나와 나온 거네 이테 나와도 왜 세부도 가부도 넘버도 지지지 라도 돼. 춘날 나와 요말 오네시나. 지고지 겨라 가라서 단다 성능다 먹뭐지. Mui ni ji mayi ni ji kala ni di do da je ni kor je je de de yo ro. Adin ta pe de sama de sti sta na paru paru ya wo yo res la.
Sometimes it is good to reflect on the feelings that in reality the feelings that I'm experiencing are not really like that. But that's quite hard to do. So it is good to approach it by way of an example of the water moon, or the reflection of the moon in water. The moon is not really there in the water. It is just a reflection, but we think sometimes, or we allude to the moon, or this the moon, when we see the reflection. And the appearance of our feelings is like that, just as we might start to think of all sorts of things about the moon and water, its color, its shape, and so forth. Then we believe our feelings in a similar way. So sometimes it's useful to use that example. So what we've done in the case of the feelings in our mind, or the water moon, is made something that is not the case, and we've exaggerated it to be the case.
예, 다들 오늘 디시 풍부세요. 풍부숨바.
나는
디시 풍부세요. 다들 야고래, 디도자래, 디링고래, 디투노래, 디까워래, 디나고래, 디미래, 디미마래, 디강바래, 디강고마래. 남이시도와
yeah,
참아지. 오늘 시스템에 직타주신 이시도와.
yeah.
어딜라 디시 소래. 디시 참아지 마스.
Now the third aggregate of discrimination, the mind discrimination faculty that's always going good, bad, long, short, white, black, house, not house, human, not human. This is that function.
다들 규제 맨날 규제 지 야구 도자라디 다 메시나를 쉬지 도대거라 디야고리 디도자르세 디시치야죠라 딜디네 너도 쉬지 툭 누고야라다 진짜 디야고리다 디도자르세디 수수 가우초나 가리나 야구 차로다 수수를 가우마시나 가리나 도자 차로다 진짜 디시기 규진조디 되발라라리거다 되바디 야구질로 도스나나니 디시디가 상모 야구인 밖에 두샤다 상고로 되바디 마두디 야구 매매 되베가로 도샤디다 아니 디시디베 도자제냐 섬다로 거다 그래서 디시기 말하지다 메제나 그 초와디도 뭔가지 디시 타는 거 디시기 이거는 되발라디 다른 수준 나와도 뭐도 트레이닝이 아니 다들 상물로 여러 거 상물로 리스트
Okay.
너무 쉬고라는 거 들어.
In our lives, we come across this cause and conditions of positive and negative a lot. And, we're constantly discriminating a lot and saying things like, well, this is good and this is bad. And in dependence on that discrimination, we make a lot of projections, or what would you say, truba, semgi truba, sort of like distorted consciousnesses. And, there is this notion of if you like something, it's good, and if you don't like it, it's bad. So this whole aggregate of discrimination is related to desire. If you desire something, then you get it, it's good. If you don't like it or you don't get it, it's bad, and so forth. So for all of the feelings we experience also often come from that discrimination, which is this desire, and that you see the appearance and you want it type. No.
다들 유 초와디도 뭐고죠야디 디시기 타는 거라.
Induce, yeah.
디시디 가리타고 되베 타는 거다. 되베 타면은 세야디 수수페 니 까마갈디니 요디기도 하다. 되바디로.
So we could say then that feelings of pleasure and pain or well-being and suffering are induced by discrimination, which in turn is induced by desire, isn't it?
디시기 뭐 상도다. 아니 디시 뭐 그래. 아니 요드나 시 미다고 이거.
But what's the nature of discrimination? It is impermanent by nature, changing.
다들 디시 세야디. 수수 나오나 시지 매워요. 당연히 시 som다 시.
Well, then one has to reflect that You know, the way one is discriminating in terms of appearance is not the way things are in reality.
Oya, ta diri, ani pumpunga na ke sumpunga tsoya mu, dishi punga sumdi thole ya. Ani geji she samda da, da dire, ni, chamanye sha, lu chamanye sha, tsawa chamanye sha. Ani, dinde kala samda thoyi na, yaudora.
Following week, it's good from today's lesson if we can reflect on the first 3 of these 5 aggregates: form, feelings, discriminations, and then the first 2 of those 4 close placements of mindfulness, those of body and feelings.
Sula, lul samda ya di, lu gyu. Tila samda mungu tayo dowa dora, ani gyu, ani chashe. Chashe to zula juwa shi, kizi nganzo kamchuk she iba.
Yeah.
Tu samda dina la yorda.
And just meditating on body and its cause, the fact that it's made up of parts, the 4 elements, and last class we did the 6 constituents. 6. I just couldn't remember.
Kada di, oya, da chiwaye na, chiwa de shawra.
Okay, so let's take the questions. If not, we'll conclude for today.
Chiwa de shawra.
Okay, we're dedicated.
Page 31 for the short mandala. Sashi toge jukshi me totra sri rani shini ne genmade
Sangye shingdo lete owaji tokunanda shingla jopa sho.
Jetsa lama kutse rate shing namka trinle chokshu ge pada lozam tempe drome sansungi drowe musel tatu ne guji idam
Guru Ratna Mandala Kambiriyatayami.
Page 33, prayers of dedication. Due to the merit
Of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha, and all living beings have an enlightened state.